Laura wants to, likes to speak.
Oh, welcome, Laura.
You are unmuted. Yeah.
I don't hear you. Sorry. I'm not getting any sound from you. Can you just say something, Laura?
Yeah, Laura, you can hear us. There's no audio. So sometimes it does look like your microphone is connected, but maybe you can otherwise take your earphones out, see if that works for a moment.
I don't think Laura's. Can you hear me, Laura?
Yeah, she can hear us. Yeah, now we hear you. We hear you typing. So if you speak now, I think we can hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so she will try to fix her sound. We can hear you
Let's
now,
see.
Laura. Laura, try. Can you speak to us for a moment? No, she doesn't hear us. No, she doesn't hear us. So maybe Sakib can go first.
You want to give it a second there? Can you hear now? Can you hear me? No?
She doesn't respond.
Okay. We can go with Sakib then.
Okay, I will pause the recording.
I've had probably my deepest, most core pain come up this morning.
Okay.
And I notice how the mind goes mad and wants to go into anger and pain and just separation and disconnection and freeze, just completely freezes.
Mm.
But I know there's another way, and I know that's why this pain is reoccurring and it gets deeper and bigger every time. So I think I don't know what to do with it.
No problem. Look, let's just, excuse me. Let's just rest together, Lara. No need to solve anything, fix anything. Yeah. We just rest, To me, I could speak it like this, that oftentimes a pain that comes like that is because our system never got the information it needed to just be at peace. Sometimes it's from very, very young, really after a few weeks in the womb. Our mother wasn't very present with herself, or it can be anything. We don't know. But let's just sit in it together, just resting. Nothing to understand, nothing to solve, nothing to just here and resting.
I just want to say a little bit more just to feel it out a bit. The place that it came from a person who is probably the only person that I feel kind of gets this stuff. And so that highlights to me that there is no other that can ever be it, really. I mean, I can sense that obviously it's great to sit and I can feel that that's what I need, but that's still other.
But it's kind of funny, it's like the hand puts food into the mouth, It's not separate from the mouth. It's the same. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, we're resting together, and somehow life is expressing itself as these different expression of this of itself. You know, it's like you can take gold and you can turn it into a bracelet or a cup or a ring. It's all gold, yeah. So you hear these expressions of that great intelligence.
I think it just opens up that idea of, you know, the outside is not where it's at. It never ever is. And the last few years, everything has fallen away, and it's like, this is the big one. Believing that I can get something from out there.
Yeah, but so let's explore that also, just so that so right here, right now, when we talk about outside, what are we talking about? And we're looking, just looking, no right answers, no wrong answers, just outside. Usually when people refer to inside and outside, they're referencing the bodying activity.
I mean, I'm talking about the things that come and go, like relationships, people, life, death.
I understand that.
Work. And the inside,
Yeah.
I feel, is where there's a stability at times, and there's a much bigger space that isn't my human coming and going.
I understand. So that human coming and going is all appearing in awareness. Correct? Yeah. So there's awareness here. And from the perspective of awareness, just looking together, again, no right answer, nothing you've read in the book, just here now. We're looking together. Where's inside and outside? You're just looking together, yeah? So you don't have to answer to please me or to get the right answer. It's just an opportunity to look for ourselves, yeah? So we here, there's awareness, and you could say, so there's awareness, and the entire universe appears in that awareness through our senses. Our senses pick up a certain, pick up the information, you could say, and oftentimes it gets interpreted through our conditioning, but everything is appearing in awareness. And that awareness, yeah, and that awareness you already are, yeah? You don't have to do anything to be that. That's already our nature.
When my human self is not in the way, yeah, but the pain feels like a human pain, and that's in the way of me experiencing that.
So let's look at that. So I want to just stay with one thing, and then we come back to that one, okay? So we're here and we're just looking at inside and outside. As awareness right now, where's outside?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and where's inside?
Inside feels like my heart that's hurting, and my stomach that's hurting, and my throat that's hurting, and my mind that's crazy,
Okay.
and my emotions that are all over the place.
Okay, cool. So that's okay. That's what. So, what's moving, you could say, is our attention. Yeah. Yeah. And that movement of attention, either towards what's going on in our mind, our bodying activity. That's why I say we're referring then to the body. That's inside, and outside the body is outside. Yeah. So it's referencing a container. The body's kind of like a container.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and that's what we would call the human being.
Yeah, the human expression. But you see, it's like, in a certain way, it's like a bit of a superficial way of speaking about it, because the human expression, like we're carrying the information of all of our ancestors for generations back, And there is no actual separation of this body from totality, because the body needs to breathe. So it doesn't exist without air, right? So you could say all of totality is involved in us taking the next breath, or the body, the body doing its thing. So usually what we call our humanity are these, like these
conditions.
Old information or habits or filters that get looked through. But when we look at it, they don't belong to us. So a lot of it was put into us way before there was any capacity to say yes or no to it. It's just like life finds itself looking through all of that stuff. So it's not personal. It's not ours even. Yeah. Although it feels very personal when it's happening.
So in that, even relating is impersonal.
Yeah. So relating, now let's see, what is relating to what?
Well, I know that most of my life and most of my relationships, it's been conditioning relating. And
for sure. So there's been a way, you could say, a habit of relating as a me to a you, yeah?
Yeah.
That's been, the conditioning, so to speak, or that's been the filter. So we're just playing, there's no right way or wrong. Something is dawning and waking up in you. And so just while we're here and we have the time, I mean, it's how lucky, we just here. And so we refer to all my life, and we're talking about me and my life, and okay. So, and we're taking time to look fresh. So this question, who am I? Yeah. So this question is not a question for the mind. Yeah. This question, this bodying activity is here and it's doing its thing. I don't know how many, 80 trillion cells or something like that, viruses, bacteria, everything kind of doing its dance, so it knows what to do. How much input does it require from us? Very little, yeah? It's just doing its thing, yeah? And yet the way we speak is we say, I breathe and I think and like that, yeah? But actually breathing's just happening, thinking just happens.
Yeah.
Body is just bodying. So we just, with this question, who am I? Yeah? Beyond memory, beyond any idea. If you speak from the deepest that you can, what is that?
I feel like there's a lot in the way, but I don't know. I can't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. That's an honest, vulnerable answer. It's beautiful. don't know.
And I don't mean I don't know cognitively. I mean, how could I ever know?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So then we come into the arena of relating and living. And then we enter into, man, what a field of ideas and beliefs and, in a sense, at a human level, it seems like most of us like to eat and like to sleep, and or it likes to eat and it likes to sleep and it likes touch and it likes being met in a sweet way. And in a way, that's also kind of food, yeah?
Of course.
Yeah, and then, it's like just coming back to that inquiry, where's inside and where's outside. There's just like the sun shining on a flower, and the flower is taking that sunlight and turning it into colors and pollen and seeds and
And there's such a
leaves.
knowing of that without mind. There's such a knowing of
Yeah.
like the simple unknown.
Yeah.
It's not reflected by much of my human relating or my human life, but I know that there's a space that I can still be that in there.
Yeah, for sure. And so the human relating, just who's doing that? Again, hard to answer that question, yeah? In a way.
Like, there's two parts. There's the human old conditioning, the ancestry, like you said, and then there's something that knows it can rest in a bigger space and then it can come from somewhere else.
Yeah. And so that's the fire in a way, yeah? The rubbing up of those two perspectives, those two things, yeah?
I think it seems to be for me that it keeps coming down to this trust of not following that old pathway so often. But to trust here also feels like a bit of a betrayal, because it feels like maybe you're not giving that human what it needs because you're trying to just trust for something you don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, I get it, yeah.
And so then the mind goes more and just wants to go back down that old pathway because it's safe and it's known.
Yeah, and so then that gets seen. And the moment it gets seen, then it's something different happens, yeah, because something is seen. And that seeing is not really a doing, it's something that happens, yeah? Yeah, it just happens.
It's my experience more and more, and then the core pain seems to get bigger and like.
So let's rest with that core pain again, just here. Just resting in it. Nothing to understand, nothing to solve. Do you have a sense that I'm feeling that with you? And you can answer honestly. You don't have to try and please me. Just but check and see. Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to be understood and make sure that I'm someplace before I can even be.
Yeah. And just get a sense if what you call me is present with you and can sense and feel you. Just resting here, not wanting this expression to be any different than it is, that it can just be like it is? Or do you sense that there's a wanting something to be different?
I think there's a wanting to know what it is and how to stop it, because it's so manipulative and
yeah. So you notice those things happening. And if it was up to you, it wouldn't be happening. So you can see something's happening without your wanting it, yeah? It's just doing its own thing.
yeah, I guess it doesn't know any other way.
Doesn't know any other way. Cool. And so it's innocent in a way, yeah? And so just being with that mechanism and say, I see, you don't have it, you don't know another way, just, I get it. And I see that there's an interest, yeah? And just sensing as we sit here, how are we meeting? How do you sense it? Our systems are meeting?
It's getting a bit softer, and then I became very aware that I'm in a meeting with lots of people, and the whole time, and so that kind of brought it to a halt.
That's okay. So attention went to that. Do you have a sense that I'm with you? Okay. Do you sense anything in me that wants anything to be different?
No, it's only coming from me.
Okay. No problem. And that wanting something to be different, again, is something that just happens by itself. It's not something you do particularly. It's just a response, you could say, that's based on discomfort or not being at ease. Yeah? How does it feel to be met like this in the body? Just feeling into your body to be met like this. How does it feel?
There's obviously a lot of energy and tension in me, which is softening. And I guess I can feel the heaviness of my head slowly kind of coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And again, you can see there's no right or wrong response. It's just what happens, yeah?
I'm still very aware of what's going on around me, people and everything, but there's a strong awareness of this here now.
Yeah, good. No special way to be, just we're in an inquiry, yeah? Just looking together, gently noticing. Yeah? One way we could speak it is kind of like a learning, like as we resting together, it's subtle shifts happen, and some of them feel lovely, and oh wow, it's cool, and then some feel like, oh wow, that doesn't feel so. So there's a learning going on just by sitting here. But as the moment there's any idea of how it should be, then the learning stops, because it's it moves into not being fresh with what's going on.
I guess the exhaustion of the game comes to light, the exhaustion of the not resting.
Yeah, for sure. Even resting can become like a way of measuring. It backfires a bit. Yeah. Just as we here, and so who are you? Just from here now. Are you the thoughts and feelings?
I mean, there's a sense that I can only be the awareness. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's like I know that all the time, but there is still that human that needs things, and
So
I know
that needing
another.
Yeah, so that needing thing, okay. Just allowing it to need. If it needs, then let it need. So there's a yearning for something, yeah?
Well, I don't actually know if that's true.
Okay.
I mean, in the moment when there's a pain, then obviously it feels like it knows it could be taken away like that if the right thing was said. And then it would continue, and the awareness just doesn't want to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. So the pain would be related to wanting something you're not getting, or getting something you don't want.
But knowing that as well, fully knowing it doesn't work.
Yeah, I understand. Do you feel like there's space enough for you to speak what it is that your system moves in the direction of wanting or not wanting?
Say that again.
Do you feel safe enough that there's space, that you can just speak what the movement is, your system wants, or what it doesn't want?
What it wants now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wants a rest.
Wants to rest, okay. So this moment, it's only about resting. It
wants to love the people it loves and stop playing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm now having a full-blown deja vu, like, I know this.
So just present here again, and that what you were calling pain, how is that now?
I mean, it's here.
Okay. And so just speaking, what is wanted or what is not wanted?
I think humor and laughter and lightness and what
Okay,
if
that's
doesn't
what's
want
one.
more indulgence, it doesn't want more of that.
So okay, it wants more lightness or humor or ease, yeah. And when does it want that?
When?
Yeah.
Now.
No, okay, cool. And how and how is it now?
It's just like so painful, it's funny, and it just doesn't, it just has no idea. It just gives up, like it just doesn't want such a serious life.
And so just being right in the center of that pain, just really giving it space and being in it. Even if it's just down to usually towards the end, there's wanting to stop wanting.
Yeah, it's just so tired.
And resting in that tiredness and just really letting that tiredness be. Just, oh, tired. Do you sense any boundaries between us at the moment, or? Just be here.
I sense boundaries with my family over there and my neighbours there and the people that are crazy about Corona there, but I don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Funny, eh? You can feel it now. Whether it's something that's real is meeting, whatever it's meeting itself in the most beautiful way. At least in my sensing of perception.
I feel very, very open. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone for sticking around if they did.
We can check something. Just put your screen on gallery view for a moment. And we can just ask, did anyone get any value from that exploration? If you did, just raise your hand so that. Yeah. Almost everybody. So just to see that somehow in that exploration, like something could come in a way that was beautiful, or that created value.
Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah.
Big thank you. I'm going to mute now. Thank you.
No worries.
Isaac? Pete would like to give it another try. You're unmuted now.
Do you see me?
Yeah, not yet on the big screen.
Okay, if I talk now, does it help it to? Okay, great.
I noticed that this contact, this meeting, kind of really feeding my system or my needs. Yeah. And I still notice lots of patterns and thinking and some like feeling of being uncomfortable with myself. But what I find really interesting is the courage of going in contact is like raising, increasing.
How beautiful. Really, how beautiful, Joe.
And also the capacity of staying in the contact is like
even when it isn't, even when discomfort is coming up, just okay, discomfort is here, can be here.
And I find it very supporting to just have this focus on the contact and not so much on the discomfort.
The content. Yeah, beautiful.
I would like to share some experience that I had for the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
I met with my family 2 weeks ago, with my mother and sister.
Okay.
And especially with my mother, I avoided the contact before because I had the sensation that the contact with my mother is bringing me somehow I didn't feel good. Point.
That's it. Just simple, yeah.
but somehow there was this impulse to meet with my family, and the habits and the patterns that showed up in this meeting and afterwards were really, really strong. And somehow I could feel the dynamic in our family, that it's not my pattern, not the pattern of my mother, but it's like passing from one to another. And
that's amazing when we can see that and not take it personally. Just, okay, that's just because in that scene, you could see that pattern is coming up in the context of a deep interest to see and to explore and be present to. And just, yeah, allowing whatever that energetic vortex or energetic pattern is to get new information and to have the capacity that just here is enough. That's okay. Don't have to be anything, don't have to do anything.
what was very painful to realize is that these patterns that come up with my family, they have a really strong effect on my capacity to new learning, to somehow go in another direction. And the painful thing is that there's somehow I have to make a decision, like in which direction to go, and that I cannot really stay with both in the moment.
Yeah. That's a deep seeing, yeah? Is it really a decision or a choice? Or is it just a response of what you love to what you love?
It feels like a life force that is pushing me in some direction.
Yeah, and you see it. Otherwise, it would you'd just be in that other direction. There would be no question, nothing. Just be in it.
Somehow there's a lot of anger about these family patterns.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's going really into some blaming quality. Yeah.
Wow. I can feel I'm really tired. Might even just in this meeting, I need to go to sleep. I feel I worked very hard today, and I can feel it's just, I'm having to effort to stay present here. Really, my eyes want to close and I want to sleep. So I wanted to rest, but I just didn't have a chance to lay down and take a nap. I was busy. I love being fresh for these meetings. Yeah. So I'm going to say night to everybody and take care of this body going to sleep. So thank you for all showing up. And for those of you that have an interest, we meet again Sunday night, right? Yeah.
Sunday, yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Isaac, for being so honestly.
Oh yeah, I can feel that. You know, I love to be present with you, and I can just feel my system is tired, so it doesn't do justice. And I'm enjoying our connection very much, but I can feel something that's just wanting to go and sleep. So yeah.
I thought it was me, Isaac.
Yeah. No
Lots
worries.
of love, and thank you for just taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.